Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptan sanjeevayat akila shakti dhara swadhamna anyam shahasta charana shravana tvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Sri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Vishaka, for appreciating me. Actually, I grew up in my ashram life in Krishna consciousness, reading Prabhupada Lilamrit, and especially the Nayar pastime, Juhu pastime is my favorite. I spoke that in the new Mayapur retreat also this time. The whole, and ever since my first days in ISKCON, I have been very fascinated by Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. And then when I read about how the initial devotees helped Srila Prabhupada so much, and then I see Mother Vishaka was trusted by Srila Prabhupada and she traveled in the night. So I never thought I would get to meet her and speak to her. She has always been a hero for us. And now I get association and I get blessings. I feel very, very blessed. Thank you. Also my deep gratitude to Kripa Maya Prabhu, Guru Charana Padma Mataji. Thank you. Thank you, Neel Madhav Prabhu, Pranbandhu Prabhu, all the devotees here, and Kaushik Bhai Prabhu, Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. And Leela Masi is like, she's a legend. Gaur Leela Mataji, Gaur Leela Mataji. Last 20 years, we sing her glory. Since I came first time here, we know all the senior Matajis, how they came together and they would make these kachoris, samosas, and every Sunday. Amazing. So it's I really feel I'm at home when I come here, and I feel very blessed. Thank you so much. And I've been asked to speak on mind your mind. Mind is a very interesting topic. Everybody loves to discuss about mind. So I'll just share a few thoughts of mine on this topic. So there are there's a spiritual perspective to the concept of mind. In Bhakti Yoga, the path we follow, we enter the zone of surrender, shelter, to transcend the challenges imposed by the mind. So to understand this, let us see our inner world. In our inner world, we live in 3 houses or 3 spaces, generally. One of the 3 places. Just like, you may, in the external world, you may live at your house, you may spend some time in the office, or you may go to the club, or whatever, you may go to temple. So in the external world, we have 3 houses or 3 places where we could possibly stay, right? Similarly, in this inside world, which is an amazing, amazing world inside, like the famous Harry Potter world of the wizards, we don't know what is there inside. So there is a world, and there are 3 houses there, and we could all the time be living in one of the 3 houses. One is sense gratification, which means externally I could be here, but in my mind I could be in the inner world. I could be feasting on samosas, kachoris, and I could be sitting in the class and nodding my head. But in my inner world, I may be thinking, okay, what is the menu tonight? So that's possible. Sense gratification is a house where many of us live in. I remember the initial days when I joined the ashram. I was not used to getting up early in the morning, because during those days we didn't have training. We just joined the ashram. So I remember I would get up at home at 7 in the morning and take breakfast at 8:30. And when I joined the ashram, we would wake up at 3:34. So around 5:30, I would start getting hungry, because the body was used to eating food after 1.5 hours after waking up. So 5:30 I was really hungry, and that's the time we just completed Mangalarti and we sat for japa. So I was chanting my japa But my hunger took over, and the devotee brahmachari sitting next to me was the kitchen in charge. So I just asked him in a friendly way, Prabhu, what's for breakfast today? And he got really irritated that during japa you are asking about breakfast. I just asked him because it just came out, it was not planned, but I just wanted some reassurance that there is breakfast later. So I asked him, what is for breakfast? And he got really irritated and very sarcastically he said, samosas and jalebis. And he continued chanting. And I was very naive. I didn't realize that he was being sarcastic or he was joking. I actually thought there is samosas and jalebis. And samosas was my favorite, food item, and jalebis is like so crispy. So it's a very favorite Indian delicacy. So I was so happy and reassured. And then I continued chanting as if I was actually peaceful chanting, because I was meditating on the samosa, jalebis, and I was smiling, chanting. And occasionally when I was chanting, I was looking around and I saw one Grihastha devotee who comes to temple for chanting, and he was looking at me, staring at me actually. So I thought, I didn't know why he was looking at me, but I continued chanting. I was smiling all the time. And after japa during Guru Puja, he comes up to me and says, Prabhu, you are chanting so nicely. You are so absorbed in Krishna. I didn't have the heart to tell him I was absorbed in samosas and jalebis. So the point I'm making is, externally I could be in any space, but my inner world, I could be living in the world of gratification, sense gratification, enjoying. So the mind, the world of the mind, this could be living there. The second house where we could possibly live is struggle. Struggle means I could be in the class, nodding my head, but thinking, oh, I have to send this email. Oh, I have to buy groceries tomorrow. Oh, or if you're in a big project, it could be something like sending satellite to the space, or being angry with someone, fantasizing some revenge, angry outbursts, or feeling prejudiced, biased, always struggling, basically struggling with karshati. Krishna says in the Gita, constantly. Mana eva, what is that verse? Prakritistani karshati. Mamaivamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manha shashtani indrani. So externally, I may be living a very graceful life in the external world, but internally I may be like really struggling. And it happens with us all the time. We are struggling. Hare Krishna. So I remember another incident for the struggle space. When we joined the temple, we used to have this annual drama festival. I don't know if you're aware, in Chowpatty every year we have a drama festival. And there was one brahmachari who was very shy by nature. So we forced him to act in the annual drama festival. Kind of ragging him, we wanted the devotees to see him, and it's a family atmosphere, but he was very shy. He said, no. So then finally we forced him. He said, okay, you have only one dialogue. You are a soldier who comes with a palanquin, and you just ask the people in the stage, who is Yamuna? The king has sent a palanquin for you. That's all he had to say. But he just couldn't get it right. He just couldn't practice. And every rehearsal he was fumbling, he was so nervous, and we were encouraging him. And the final day, the final rehearsal, the evening before the drama festival, he practiced for 3 to 4 hours. And finally he got it right. Who is Yamuna? The king has sent a palanquin for you. And we all give a thunderous applause, because next day he's going to perform this. It's a 1-hour drama, and he has just 10 seconds dialogue. So next morning, so the drama is in the evening, but morning program, all brahmacharis attend. It's compulsory. So the morning we attended Mangalarati as usual, and we are chanting the japa, Hare Krishna, we're all chanting. Temple hall is still, and in our temple we have a, because it's a little spacious temple hall, we make japa circles. So there was one japa circle where His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was sitting. I was sitting next to Maharaj, in front of Maharaj, and next to me was this brahmachari and a few other brahmacharis. Hare Krishna. Temple hall is still, quiet, everybody is only chanting, peaceful. And suddenly the temple hall reverberated with a booming voice. Who is Yamuna? The king has sent a palanquin. This brahmachari just came out of his... He just couldn't keep it inside. He was rehearsing the whole thing in the mind for the last 3-4 hours that he was awake. And as he was chanting, It was going on, and finally, who is Yamuna the king? And then he realized what he had done, and then everybody laughed. It was embarrassing, but then we all laughed, and then it was taken in a good spirit. But that's when I realized, well, he was living in which space? The struggle space. Sometimes we are living in the sense gratification space, and if we are living always in the struggle space, then we slip to sense gratification. And to sustain sense gratification, we need to struggle. That's how material world is designed. So eternally we are suffering like this. Sense gratification and struggle. But there is a beautiful third house in our inner world where we could enter. The mind, intelligence, ego. The composite of mind, intelligence and ego, for oversimplifying, I call it as mind, because it simplifies. So that we can enter the world of surrender, shelter. And when we enter there, we feel loved, we feel a sense of belonging. I know it's abstract, but we'll try to unpack it a little bit now. But if you can enter that world of shelter, Krishna, I am yours, Krishna, I belong to you. If you can somehow enter that space, then struggle and sense gratification reduces. Then the mind becomes peaceful and we are happy in Krishna consciousness. Initially we would chant like this. As young brahmacharis, we thought we have to control the mind and we have to win this battle against the mind. This is how I used to chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And at the end of 16 rounds, I felt I've achieved something. And then His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj Swami's one class, it was like a slap. He said, Prabhu, Krishna Prem is not achieved, it is received. And I remember once I was chanting like this very intensely in the morning, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. It was Sunday morning, I remember. And Sunday morning, generally we have more grahasthas coming to temple for japa. So one grahastha friend of mine, senior devotee, he saw me chanting japa very intensely, Hare Krishna. And occasionally I saw him looking at me. And he was also chanting. I thought maybe he's impressed by my chanting. So then after the chanting during Guru Puja, he asked me, Prabhu, can I share something? I want to ask you something. I said, yes. Prabhu, why were you were chanting really intense? So I said, yeah. So is that a struggle for you? Is chanting a struggle for you? So I said, yes, I'm struggling to control the mind. It's a struggle and we want to win this battle against the mind. He said, really, it's a struggle? I said, yeah, it's a struggle. And then he sighed. Oh. I said, what happened? He said, no, Prabhu, I was just reflecting. My life is full of struggle. This devotee was explaining his life. He said, Monday to Saturday, I struggle in office, at home, in various relationships. I have so many responsibilities. I struggle a lot. But the only thing that gives me hope is on a Sunday morning, I would come to temple and I would find shelter. And here I come and I see, even you are struggling. So what's the difference between you and me? That was a moment of epiphany for me. I said, wait a minute, what am I doing? My journey has ended. I've got chanting. This is it. But somewhere, I was caught in that struggle zone. So many times we become addicted to struggle. We just don't know how to let go and allow Krishna to receive. To receive Krishna's mercy. And especially when things start falling apart in our lives, which the body, the mind, things happen. We are not going to live here forever. So we need to slowly make a transition from sense gratification house, struggle, to we need to enter the surrender space. Krishna, I am yours. That somehow has to happen. In the 8th canto, we find this beautiful description. Today afternoon, I was hearing one lecture of Srila Prabhupada. He was saying, Dhruva's mother also could not help him. So she sent him to the forest. There was something Dhruva wanted, even his mother could not help. So Srila Prabhupada says, the people we love the most, a time will come, even they cannot help us. It's only between you and Krishna. So Gajendra is a classic example. Gajendra gets his realization Namami me gyataya aturam gaja kuta karinya prabhavanti mochitum. Grahena pashena vidaturavrito pyaham chatam yami param parayanam. He says, now I am realizing, because Gajendra, the king of elephants, he was enjoying in the lakes with so many of his wives. His life was full of enjoyment. Now he is saying, Kuta Karinya Prabhavanti Mo, where are my wives? Where is my family? Everybody has abandoned me. And now this crocodile which has caught me, the crocodile had caught his legs, the crocodile's jaws. So he says, this is not the crocodile. Grahena pashena vidhaturavrito. This was to happen. Pyaham chatam yami param parayanam. This is the time for me to move, give up the struggle, and now enter the surrender zone. And then as soon as he enters that surrender zone and he appeals to Krishna, Krishna, I am yours, he gets another realization. As he makes a transition from struggle to surrender, he realizes, oh, this is not a crocodile. He starts seeing that crocodile differently. Yakaschanesho balinonta ragat prachanda vegat abhidhavato brusham. Bhitam prapannam pratipati yadbhayan mrityu pradhavat aranam tato naha. He says, oh, this is extremely powerful, but this is not simply a crocodile. Prachanda vegat abhidhavato brusham. He says, he gives a very, very imaginative, Bhagavatam has these very poetic explanations. So he is saying, I am running full speed. I am running. And there is a Prachanda vegat abhidhav, and there is a serpent chasing me, a python, and I am running full speed. Bhitam prapannam pratipati yadbhayan. I am scared of this serpent and I am running. And the serpent is chasing me to devour me. But this is mrityu, this is vidhata, this is time. The serpent of time is chasing me. But what's happening? Bhitam prapannam pratipati yadbhayan mrityu pradhavat aranam tato naha. Because now I've entered the surrender zone, so now I'm seeing Krishna in front of me. So my running has stopped. My running has stopped and I'm looking at Krishna. And now when I turn back, what do I see? The python which was chasing me, it is running away and Krishna is chasing that python. And I am standing here. So surrender is a game changer. The ability to tell Krishna, Krishna, I am yours. Krishna, I give up this. See, when we are new, okay, before coming to KC, we are like a man in the chariot. The horses are running wild. And he doesn't care, and the horses are going here and there. That is like sense gratification phase. Then we come to KC, we realize we have to control the mind the mind. So we are like the person who takes charge of the horses. He holds the reins. Yes, I'm in control. I'm managing my life. So that is the struggle phase. Sense gratification. Now, struggle. But those of you who have seen life, you know that how much can you control? How many things are in our control? As we get older, as so many things start falling apart, at some point of time we realize even this is unsustainable. Relaxing on the chariot as the horses were going wild is not good. But now when I'm holding the reins, this is also not helping me much. So what do I do now? I give up. Krishna. But now the difference is, now the third phase is when you are again left the reins of the horses. Now the third phase looks exactly like the first phase. You getting it, what I'm saying? But there is a big difference. In the third space, what are you doing? Krishna has taken charge of the reins of the horses. That's a big difference. Externally it may appear, that's why many times for many of us, when we come new to KC, surrender is very attractive concept because my mind was running wild. I didn't have to do anything. And now surrender to Krishna. Okay, now Krishna will take care. Again, I don't struggle at all. I want to directly jump from sense gratification to surrender. But you can't unless you go through struggle. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to be Goswamis. We want to control our senses. We want to get purified. But as we struggle, the process of bhakti is so beautiful that we'll realize that we'll have to come to a stage where Krishna, I am yours. Krishna, please take charge of my life. And when we offer our lives to Krishna, and we enter that house, a house of surrender, we make that big leap of faith. Krishna, yes, I'm yours. That's what Gajendra does in the last. I don't remember that verse. Sonta sara surubale na grihita artha drishtva garutmati harim kahupata chakram ukshupya vikshipya kam bujakaram giramah krichran Narayana Akhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. This is a beautiful verse where Gajendra is, with all his efforts, is picking up that lotus flower and he's saying, Sonta Saraduru Balena Grihita Artha. So much of pain and suffering is going through. He picks up that lotus and he's saying, Ukshipya is like with all, whatever little might he has, he's saying, Krishna, Narayana Akhila Guru Bhagavan, I am offering this to you. I am yours. And that's when Vishnu comes there on Garuda and he takes his chakra and he cuts off the head of the crocodile. So the Bhagavatam appeals to us to move from sense gratification to surrender through the journey of struggle. So the struggle purifies us if we remember Krishna. And that's how we make this journey in Krishna consciousness. And during this struggle, when things become very difficult and we are not able to completely take shelter of Krishna, we can start practicing some wonderful life-enhancing principles like gratitude, appreciation, and especially being with Vaishnavas. This is the best space we can live in, where devotees many times, they burst the bubble in which we are living. Many of us, we are actually happy, we are not suffering. But the mind is so nasty, mind is so tricky. The mind makes us feel you're not happy, even if you have everything. Sometimes the mind, so the devotees, when they talk, they share their struggles, they spend time with us, they're able to make us realize that life is not bad after all. So we need association. And in that association, when we do, association also is, actually association is the most important to live and nourish ourselves in the space of surrender to Krishna. You know, there is this amazing pastime in the 4th canto. Dhruva Maharaj, he gets darshan of Krishna. And actually, you know why Dhruva went to forest? He wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. He was very ambitious. And he gets Krishna and then he tells Krishna, Krishna, what a fool I was. I wanted a kingdom. Sthana bilashi tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam swamin kritartosmi varam nayache. He says, I wanted a great kingdom. I did tapasya for that. Sthana bilashi tapasi sthitoham. But what did I get in exchange? Tvam praptavan. I got you. Deva munindra guhyam. Great demigods can't get you and I got you. Now I realize that what I really wanted from you, the kingdom, is as useless. Kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam. It's as useless as a broken piece of glass. And I have got a diamond now. So my prayer to you is, I don't want a kingdom because I got you. Swamin kritartosmi varam nayache. No other blessing. I got you. So at this point of time, we may think, okay, Dhruva is very happy. He has got Vishnu. The story ends. No. The next prayer he says, my dear Lord, if you really want to give me a blessing, give me this. What is that? Bhaktim muhu prabhatam tvai me prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amala shayana enanja solvanamuru vyasanam bhavabdim neshe bhavad gunakatam vritapanamattha. He says, I want to practice bhakti. Dhruva is telling the Lord, when the Lord is standing in front of him, Bhaktim muhu prabhatam tvai me prasango. Give me prasango. Srila Prabhupada translates, Sangha means what? Association. So Srila Prabhupada translates prasango as intimate association of devotees. Dhruva is in front of the Lord And he's saying, I want intimate association of devotees. And what do I want to do there? Bhuyad ananta mahatam amalasha. I just want to hear your glories. Because that will help me. Enanja sol banamuru vesanam bhavabdim neshe guna. He says, now, as long as I'm alive, as long as I have this body, I have to struggle in this material world. But if I have the association of devotees and I'm hearing about you, that will be the anesthesia. That will help me go through the purification. And really, my dear Lord, Neshe Bhavad Gunakatam Mritapana Matta, I want to go mad hearing about your glories in the association of devotees. Because this world is, there are many adjectives he uses. Ulbanam, fearsome, ghastly, like that. He refers to the material world like that. So we have Dhruva who's got Krishna and he wants association of devotees. Narottam Das Thakur, all of you have heard of Narottam Das Thakur. He is a very special personality. His descent was predicted by the Supreme Lord himself. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, looking at the direction of Keturi, Narottam, Narottam, and everybody said, what's happened to the Lord? And the Lord said, one of my greatest devotees called Narottam is going to come in Keturi. So Lord is predicting his arrival. So Narottam Das Thakur appears and then he performs his pastimes. And in his prayers he says, now here is a person whose arrival has been predicted with none other than the Supreme Lord. And Narottam Das Thakur what is his prayer? Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanevas janame janame hoye yehi abhilas. He says, I want bhakta sanevas. I want to be with the devotees of Krishna. And not only this lifetime, Janame janame hoye yehi abhilas. Birth after birth, I want to be with the devotees so that I can hear your glories. So this is an amazing opulence that we've got, where we can come together. And if we really want to thrive in the surrender space, we need to take our association also to the next level. See, association can be also at 3 levels. First level of association is socializing, where we simply come together and socialize. Second level of association is where we come together and we hear and chant in that association. That's when the magic starts happening. We hear about Krishna, we hear about spiritual topics. That is real association. And there is a third level where we can take our association, and that will really catapult us to transcendental level. And that's when, that kind of association is when we are not only hearing and chanting in the association, but we are internally, remember the inner house, I spoke about the 3 houses. In the internal world, when I am depending on the blessings of each and every other devotee, when I have that mood of dependence on blessings of devotees, then I'm actually associating with the devotees. And in that mood, when I'm associating, then I can experience Krishna. And I can experience Krishna's shelter. So, this is the way we thrive in the surrender space. And practically speaking, what it means, now to translate all of this, what I've spoken, if I have to translate this into a doable action, I would say something like this. This is what I do. I translate all this, what I spoke in the last half an hour, into a practical action like this. So when I chant my rounds, this is what I do. And whenever I've done this, trust me, I've enjoyed my chant. Not enjoyed in the enjoyed sense, but I really found shelter in chanting. And that is, I begin like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. And I try to control the mind. I try to pull the mind back. And Srila Prabhupada said, chanting means what? Listen to the holy name. So I try to listen to the holy name as I start chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Again, pull the mind back. Mind wanders, pull it back, pull it back. After around, say, 1.5 to 2 minutes, I don't calculate, but maybe after 10 Mahamantras or 12 Mahamantras that I've struggled, it's impossible to control the mind. It's impossible. You may have all the techniques in the world, but it's impossible, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, Gopinath, Tumi Rishikesha. No, how does it begin? Gopinath, Anata Dekhiya More, Tumi Rishikesha, Rishikadamiya Taraye Samsmriti Ghore. He says, my dear Lord, I am Anath, I am an orphan, and you are Rishikesh. You can control my senses. So I cannot. So after chanting for say the round takes me 8 minutes. One round takes me 7 to 8 minutes. For the first 1 or 1.5 minutes, I struggle to listen to the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then very seamlessly, I'm able to slip into the surrender space where I say, Krishna, I give up. Hare Krishna. Then even if the mind wanders, I actually say this, okay, let the mind go where it wants. Krishna, this is the best I can offer you now. And you know what a paradox. When I let my mind wander, I've been able to listen to the holy name better. But if I do that right in the beginning, then the mind will go to sense gratification. If I try to surrender to Krishna without struggle, then the mind will feast on sense gratification. We need to struggle. We need to pull the mind back and go through that struggle and then be able to tell Krishna, I can't do this. And then I see my chanting is very nourishing. And then the round gets over, I pull the counter beat down. Then the next round again, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shraddha Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna. You know, Burijan Prabhu says this technique in his Japa book. Sankalpa, make a Sankalpa. I'm going to listen to this one Maha Mantra. Listen, Hare Krishna. But Burijan Prabhu also writes in the same book later on that time will come when all techniques will fail. Even this one will fail. He says, we need to enter the surrenders. He says, we need to enter that surrender. Krishna, I am yours. And I've seen, even though I may not have surrendered, but somewhere I'm able to enter the space of emotion during chanting. Some emotion, maybe sometimes gratitude, maybe sometimes desperation for something. So when emotion enters that chanting, then chanting there is some rasa in chanting. And then we are able to chant also, 16 rounds without an urgency to. Generally, when we are chanting, I don't know about you, but for many years I've struggled with this. Instead of being interested in these beats while chanting, I'm more interested in these beats. Is this coming down? But whenever I've chanted in this, I call this as the struggle to surrender method of chanting, where you struggle for some time and then gently let go the struggle. Krishna, I love you. Krishna, I'm yours. I really want to love you, Krishna. And then give up. And I see mind is cooperating. Mind cooperates. So this is the way we can, because what will happen eventually is, by this, chanting is not practiced in isolation. We also have a culture of hearing, association. And in that culture of service, I call this as in India, we have the what you have in your A levels. In India, it's called as HSC. So HSC is an acronym I use, hearing about Krishna, service and chanting. All three, if it is there, then we can live in a space beyond the mind, beyond the house of sense gratification and struggle. And then we can experience Krishna's love in our heart. I would like to conclude with one, and then we can take some questions. Recently, I was hearing a class of Srila Prabhupada. This is an amazing class. July 5, 1971, Los Angeles. It's on YouTube. 15 minutes class. I don't know why. There is no recording after that. In this 15-minute class, Srila Prabhupada has given us the criteria of success in bhakti. Many times we want others to approve of what we are doing. And we need an endorsement. Am I doing well in bhakti? And we don't have any concrete objective criteria, right? In my spiritual life. Have I advanced so much? Although Srila Prabhupada writes in the second chapter of Gita that sense gratification and Krishna consciousness going together. We can know we are advancing if our desire for sense gratification goes down. But we want to know if we can get some more objective criteria of whether I am advancing. So in this class, Srila Prabhupada gives us an amazing criteria. He says this pastime, this pastime where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to South India. He sees this Brahman who is reading Bhagavad Gita, is illiterate. So Srila Prabhupada speaks this pastime. Everybody is making fun of this Brahman. You are reading this Bhagavad Gita, he is illiterate and is reading. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also asked him, you are illiterate and you are reading Bhagavad Gita? Now I am quoting Srila Prabhupada as it is. Srila Prabhupada says, the Brahman thought, oh, this sannyasi, he is not making fun of me. He is really asking. So he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, I am actually not, I am illiterate, but I am reading because my Guru Maharaj has ordered me. What to do? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, but I see you are not reading simply. You are illiterate, you are reading, but you are also crying as you are reading Gita. Why are you crying? Then Srila Prabhupada says, the Brahman said, I am not reading, I am not crying. I am feeling. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is that feeling? The Brahman said, I am feeling Krishna is so nice. Krishna is so kind. He has become the driver of his devotee Arjuna. So when I feel Krishna is so nice, Krishna is so kind, I cry. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him, saying that you know the Bhagavad Gita. So after this, Srila Prabhupada says, so our goal of Krishna consciousness movement, the success of Krishna consciousness is to feel Krishna is so nice. Krishna is so kind. Can I feel that? One devotee told me, Prabhu, but I don't feel that Krishna is so nice and Krishna is so kind because he is driving Arjuna's chariot. I said, no, you can feel Krishna is so nice and Krishna is so kind because Krishna is also driving your chariot. Have you ever been, okay, how many of you here, be honest, at least once in your life you feel you've been either on road or train or airplane where you feel you had a near fatal accident, you had a close shave. Anybody ever felt on the road, accident hote hote bach gaya? Yes? See, that means who was driving a chariot then? It was Krishna. Krishna is so nice. Krishna is so kind. So therefore, if we enter this space, the space of feelings, rather than an intellectual memory of Krishna, if we can cultivate an emotional remembrance of Krishna, then we will be able to thrive in the surrender space. And then we will find Krishna consciousness a blissful process, and mind will not mind the mind. Mind will be like, okay, inconsequential. Mind is there, it keeps troubling. It's okay. Like John Stuart Mill, he said a nice statement. He said, I'm paraphrasing it, but it hit me very hard when I read it first time. He said, it's better to be a dissatisfied human being than a satisfied pig. Better to be an unsuccessful Socrates than a successful fool. So, okay, sometimes my mind is troubling me. I'm not happy. It's okay. So what? I may not be happy, but I have a purpose. I have Krishna. I want to serve Krishna. I want to go back home, back to Krishna. So we tolerate all the ups and downs of our lives, and happily serving Krishna, we go ahead. And that way, we can live with the mind peacefully. Hare Krishna. Any corrections, comments? Yes.
They always hear that we need to surrender to Krishna, and when we surrender, the thought is that I'm yours, and whatever is going to happen, I'm going to accept it. I'm a puppet in your hands. But my question here is, it's a very basic question. Does Krishna actually intervene in our destiny, or whatever karmic reactions we are going through in our life? Who is driving? Does Krishna intervene, or is it only material energy that's giving us our reactions?
I was discussing this Hari Parshad Prabhu, one of the scholars in ISKCON, an authority on many subjects. Because this is a common question many of us have, I'm surrendering to Krishna, or am I? What is Krishna doing with my life? So there is something called as a sincere devotee. We may not be pure devotees. Pure devotees, we know Krishna has taken charge of their life. And a person is not coming to Krishna, he gets what he deserves. He or she gets what he deserves because of the law of karma. But when we are showing a sincere step towards Krishna, then Krishna gives us what we need to come closer to him. I'll repeat, there's a difference between getting what we deserve and getting what we need to come closer to Krishna. So if you are sincere devotee, then the law of karma works like this. There is, that there is prarabdha karma that we are supposed. Okay, there is sankuch. Okay, let's put it like this. There are three things, three reactions. One is sankuchit karma. Sankuchit means the stockpile. There's a stockpile of all the reactions we are supposed to get for whatever we have done. That is sankuchit karma. From that, you take out little. And that comes in this body, packaged into this body. That is called prarabdha. Prarabdha is what will be there in this body. Sankuchit is a stockpile. Prarabdha is this. So I'm going to get whatever reactions in this body. And now I come to Hare Krishna movement. I start chanting, doing seva, being humble. Then, but I'm in this body, so I'm performing actions and that also gets reaction. That is called kriyamana karma. Kriyamana karma means what I do now in this body, which will give me reactions later. Okay, this is very, very important, very powerful. Let me repeat this. What is the first? Sanchit or sankuchit. Sanchit karma. Sanchit karma is sankuchit karma. Sanchit karma is the stockpile. Everything is there. And the next? What is prarabdha?
Right now.
This body. And all the things associated with this body. And what is the third? Kriyamana is what? What I do now, which will give me reactions later. Now what happens when we start sincerely practicing bhakti? Our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I was hearing from Hariparshad Prabhu's presentation, that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Krishna removes the sankuchit, the sanchit karma, the stockpile is, and kriyamana karma, what you are doing now, like you're walking on the street to the temple and suddenly you may step on an ant, for example. You don't have to worry about all of that. The kriyamana karma and sanchit karma is gone. But the prarabdha, this body you've got, if you don't want to get that, then you have to die. Because it's come with this. So he gives an example. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a beautiful example for us to understand. He says there is an arrow maker who is sharpening the arrow. And he's sharpening it nicely, and he has a big quiver in which is filled up with a lot of arrows. After sharpening, he fills it. And after filling it up, occasionally he takes an arrow and he shoots it. The arrow is moving. So then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this quiver containing all the arrows is like sanchit karma, and the sharpening that is doing is like kriyamana karma, and the arrow that is released and it's moving in the air, that is prarabdha. That you cannot stop, it's gone. So this body is gone, it's like the arrow has come and now I'm going. So that karma, what you're supposed to get, like disease, whatever, health issues, all that. But still Srila Prabhupada is so kind, he has given us this explanation of how, karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhajam, that if a 10 kilogram weight was supposed to fall on your head and you meet with a small accident, so that's like concession, we get concession. Srila Prabhupada has said that, so I would like to believe it and accept it. I've told you the Shastra. Now, that's what it is.
But you said prarabdha karma,
He may not be doing it, yeah.
He may not be doing it.
Krishna is the supreme director. See, you are in the struggle space right now. You're trying to figure out there are some things we can't know. Gehena karmano gati, right? Krishna says this in the Gita. Some things are so complicated. Everything you can't pinpoint to, okay, this is because of this is. Then we would be God, no? If you know everything.
But you said that maybe
I'm sorry, I take back whatever I said and whatever has confused you. Yes, Prabhu.
So in workplace, we talk about these KPIs.
Key performance.
And you use a wonderful example of your chanting, because we compare ourselves to others where we really sit. Very difficult to tell. I'm a great pretender of being a devotee, but I don't know where I sit. And it's very difficult to work unless you're sort of peeking over as to how this other person is chanting, or peeking over this side as to how this person's serving. How do I calibrate or gauge myself? And how do I use so-called devotional people?
Honestly, I didn't get the last part of what you're saying.
So I'm trying to calibrate myself.
And you are using the yardstick of other devotees? That's what you're saying?
Or it's like your example of chanting, we're doing it in a potentially comparative way. This person's chanting in a very nice way, perhaps I'll emulate that way, perhaps I'll get something from there. So it's very difficult sometimes to find out where you are. Is it important to know where you are? To know where you're going?
Yeah, especially it can happen in a community when we are, living with many devotees. Like I live in an ashram where there are 100 plus devotees and each one is unique. And it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves with others and then doing what they are doing and thinking this is devotional service. So it took me many years. For many years in the ashram, I was trying to be like some other devotee. And then after I think 7-8 years, I realized that I'm not like them. And then I spent trying to find out who I am. And now I can confidently say that I'm performing devotional service without comparing myself with others. So it's natural to get affected by others, but we need to pause and reflect on who I am, how I can uniquely serve Krishna. So it's natural to get affected by others, but everybody is serving Krishna uniquely. You ask yourself, there are two things. One is, what helps you experience Krishna the best? And what helps you to share Krishna with others? What is the unique way you can share Krishna with others? And what is that activity in devotional service which helps you experience Krishna the best? So that's you. That's your devotional service to Krishna. For me, I chant my 16 rounds sincerely, as sincerely as possible, because I've taken a vow from a spiritual master. But for me, more than japa, the japa journal I write, that nourishes me. Writing nourishes me more than other activities. So I write. Today I brought my scriptural journal. That's another journal. And today afternoon I said, okay, Kaushik Bhai wants me to speak on mind. So I heard one Prabhupada's class, and regardless of that class, what Srila Prabhupada spoke, after that class I wrote a 4-page essay on moving from how to control the mind to why to control the mind. So I wrote an essay on this, and I was thinking of speaking this today. But I'm just saying, so the writing is me, you see. So I don't want to compare with anyone else now, because this is unique. I find it, I'm able to connect with Krishna like this. And sharing through books or through preaching. So how can you best serve Krishna? If you ask yourself, and how can you experience Krishna the best? And then you focus on those activities, then there will be no comparison. But you can't avoid it totally, because we live in a society where we are influencing each other. We are working in the workplace, we are influenced by others. So that will happen. But somehow we need to find our own rasa with Krishna. For some it is making garland, for some it is deity worship. There are 64 items of devotional service. Is that okay? Can you reflect on what helps you remember Krishna the best? What activities helps you remember or connect with Krishna the best? Sankirtan, for some it is Sankirtan. It doesn't really matter. Of course, we have 60 chanting, hearing and all of that, but there is scope for variety. The 64 items Rupa Goswami has given us. It's like we have, you love someone very much and you're meeting every day. So, and you meet and you connect with that person. You talk to that person. You develop a relationship with that person. Now, where you meet is not as important as you connecting with that person. Two of you may meet in a library, or you may meet, somebody may say, no, I think it's better to meet in the college canteen, or better to meet in the park. Where you meet, what is the medium of connection to Krishna? More important than is to understand how exactly you can connect with Krishna. What helps you connect with Krishna? So for me, it is chanting sometimes it's writing journals. So find your basket of activities and pick up one, connect with Krishna, and then yes, people will keep doing inspiring devotional service. We take inspiration from that, and then we do we offer Krishna our own unique service. I have a friend, very close friend of mine, he says, Prabhu, before I die, I want to make 30 temples for Srila Prabhupada. And when I heard that, I got scared, because for me, making a temple, the very thought of it, it's like, he wants to use his nature. He has got that nature, and he's like, I know another Grihastha devotee, he He chants a lot, he loves, but he likes to earn money. He's got that Vaishya mentality. So we were on the book table together. And he chants a lot. He chants 64 rounds. Now he's retired, so he chants 32 rounds every day. He's very sincere in bhakti. He's next to me. We're managing the book table during Janmashtami. And during the last 3-4 hours, a lot of books are going. People are selling, buying books, and I'm taking the money and I'm preaching to them. And he's putting the book, and he's smiling. I said, "You are very happy." He said, "Prabhu, I'm so happy. So much money is coming." I said, "But you're not getting any of this. It's not going to your pocket." He said, "I don't care if it's coming to my pocket or not. It's coming in, right?" I love the fact that money is coming in. And he's using that in Krishna's service. So we all have been gifted with unique personality, nature. So we can somehow connect to Krishna in that way. And we will sometimes get influenced. Keep coming back. Okay, Sundaranand. Okay, so Kaushik bhai, क्या करूँ मैं? Kaushik bhai.
Can you summarize your general for this afternoon in a few words? What you've written?
Thank you. I was hoping somebody would ask that. Basically, my whole essay one was on the topic that many times people say how to control the mind. Today I got a realization that how to manage the mind is not important. What is more important is to ask, why do I want to manage my mind? The answer to why question, why I want to control my mind, is more important than how to control the mind. Because how to control the mind, you'll get a lot of content on the internet. There are 3 A's, 3 P's, many acronyms. But these skills won't help me to manage my mind if I first don't answer the question, why to control the mind, why to manage the mind. And this question can be answered not by the preacher, but by the audience. The preacher can tell you why you should want to manage your mind. But he will say you should manage the mind because human life is rare and with mind in control you can get Krishna. We are happy to hear what the preacher says, how to control the mind, because I don't have to answer this difficult question. So why to manage the mind is a very difficult question. Deep within, I may want to manage my mind because I want to enjoy sense gratification better. I want to eat, sleep, I have better sex life, I defend myself better, and I want to be happy in this world, material world. So I want to control my mind. Very few accept that they have a goal of happy material life. Many of us like to imagine that we are deeply spiritual in our aspirations. And when I hear answer to the question how to manage the mind, I am not happy, because the answer is different depending on the goal I have. If I have the desire to be happy in material world, but the speaker imagines that I have a desire to love Krishna, then his answer may not appeal to me. Does it make sense? I went through this experience in 2018 to 2021, 4 years. I was taking care of my mother and a lot of issues at my home front. It's a long story, and I remember I was plagued with so many issues. That time when speakers would sometimes say surrender to Krishna or chant the holy names like a child calls for the mother, I was not so impressed. This is all part of my journal I'm writing today. But when I was in the space of desire to love Krishna, then the same answer made sense. Therefore, how to manage the mind, answer to this question depends on why to manage the mind. So there are 2 possibilities why I want to control the mind. I want to be happy in this material world. That's one answer why I want to control the mind. Or I want Krishna. I want to love Krishna. If my answer is I want to be happy, then I have 3 techniques for you, which I also practice myself when my mind is overwhelming and I have less than spiritual desires. I practice breathing. I can speak for a lot of time on breathing, some other time. Breathing, journaling, and praying. I call it BJP. In India, I don't use the acronym BJP because, you have to be politically correct. But if my answer is I want to chant, I want to control my mind because I want to love Krishna, then hearing, seva and chanting. So how does this help? Then the whole rest of the essay is on that, how hearing helps, because hearing takes us from I space to Krishna space. When we hear about Krishna, you've seen this, I don't know, in England also I'm sure you have coins, but in India we have this 10 rupee coin, which is quite big, this size. So if I take the 10 rupee coin close to my eyes, in the afternoon, midday sun, I look at the sun, that coin can block my vision of the sun. And I can keep it close to my eyes like this. But you think the coin is bigger than the sun? But the sun is what? Quadrillion times bigger than that coin. But still that coin has the power to block the vision of the sun. Similarly, my issues, my problems, I, me and mine is actually nothing, but still it has the power to block Krishna. There is wonderful Krishna, the son of Krishna beyond me and my world, but I'm not able to access it because I'm living in my eye space. So hearing helps us get out of that, and service purifies the lower nature and all that, and then chanting. So this is the essence. So if you want to love Krishna, the best way to manage the mind is to move from struggle to surrender. I wrote all of that. I wrote about Dhruv Maharaj, Narottam Das Thakur, which I spoke in the class today. And finally, I ended by speaking about association. I wrote about association, 3 types of association: socializing, hearing and chanting, and then depending on the blessings of other devotees. So if I'm depending on your blessings, Prabhu, and if you pray for me, then even if my mind is troubling me, I'm okay. Because I know that Krishna will. Twice I heard in the last week here in Manor this quote. I think it's been attributed to Anand Gopal Prabhu. Twice I heard from 2 different devotees. If you pray to Krishna, Krishna listens. If you pray for yourself, Krishna listens. If you pray for yourself, Krishna listens. But if you pray for others, Krishna acts. So I'm depending on all of your blessings. So if you pray for me, I pray for you. We all pray for each other. So we can be happy in this Krishna conscious community despite our mind troubling us on and off. So that was the essay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sundaranand Prabhu. I'll take your question a little later.
Prabhu, thank you so much. It's been a lot of points that you've covered, and it's nice to be able to meditate and recap some of them. I was thinking of the 3 spaces of the mind that you mentioned, and hopefully most of us are not in the first space, but we are definitely in the second space. And as you rightly said, we have to move towards the surrender. We have the faith, we have the knowledge that Krishna himself says, and he says, Masucha, he says, don't fear. We know all that. We hear that, we believe it. And we also attempt to be in the surrender space at different points with different degrees. And then you also mentioned that now is the time that for few of us, that the reins are losing from the hands. And the difference is that you mentioned that Krishna is holding it, as opposed previously, so nothing is holding it. Gajendra does that, and he immediately soon sees the Lord with the Sudarshan Chakra. Now this, we are so conditioned that we do like to get reinforcement from the Falshruti of what we're doing. So now my question after this background is that if we are attempting to surrender, at least even unknowingly, how do we know that Krishna is holding the reins? Because yes, we hear from you, and you talked about an occasional accident that didn't happen. But I think mine wants more. I know it's playing the trick, but there is more convincing required. Keep going, and not giving up.
That can only happen that Krishna is reciprocating. Basically, you want signs that Krishna is reciprocating, yes. Right?
Yes.
That we are not able to recognize Krishna's reciprocation because of the mind. And the best way we can recognize Krishna is reciprocating with us every day is by practicing fresh gratitude. We generally practice gratitude in a very abstract way. Krishna, thank you for everything. That thank you for everything means nothing. Kunti Devi does not say thank you Krishna for everything. She says Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshana Dasat Sabhaya Vanavasakrit. She's specifying what she's thanking Krishna for, the specific things in her life. So if you start practicing specific things, that is the first aspect of gratitude. Then the second aspect is sometimes even that gets boring and cliched. Like I remember writing my gratitude journal. Thank you Krishna for giving me wonderful grandparents who raised me with so much love. Next day I couldn't say the same sentence with feeling. After a few days, I can't keep thanking my mom, dad every day. So then I started, of course I do that in between, but I started practicing what is called as fresh gratitude. Means what has happened in the last 24 hours for which I'm really grateful. So my eyes and ears are constantly, I'm keeping myself awake and alert. Something good I see, it comes in my gratitude journal. Something good I experience. It could be some nice prasad, for example. It could be anything. Or some nice healthy social interaction with someone, or some kind words I received. Something, it could be anything. Like, yes, I should have brought that journal. Gratitude journal, every day morning I thank five fresh gratitude items. So that's like dropping a pebble in the center of the lake. You get beautiful ripples. So mind is like a lake. Early morning you drop that pebble of gratitude. So that is, first is specific gratitude, second is fresh, and third, very important, answer the question why. Why are you grateful for that? It could be one sentence, just one sentence, but then when you answer why, if you say, Prabhu, thank you so much for this good class. I'm just giving an example. If you say, and if you answer why I'm grateful for that, because I like to hear Krishna Katha. It doesn't have to be an esoteric answer. It could be just simple why, because then you touch the energy or emotion of gratitude. Why is important. So gratitude needs to be specific, fresh, and it should answer why. And then what will happen if you practice this every day? Just 5 items, thanking Krishna for just 5 gifts. You know what will happen one day? Do you think you will realize love for Krishna? Maybe not. But at least you will be convinced that Krishna loves you. There is a big difference between I loving Krishna. I may not yet love Krishna, but by gratitude I'll realize Krishna loves me. He's giving me so much. He's reciprocating with me. And then it becomes easy to see Krishna's reciprocation. And when you realize Krishna loves you, it's a matter of time before you also love Krishna, right? There's a famous Bollywood song for those of you who are from India. Old song. नाना करते प्यार तुम्ही से कर बैठे, करना था इनकार मगर इकरार तुम्ही से कर बैठे. The song is, this lover is telling her beloved, I wanted to say no to you, but I'll end up saying yes. Why? Because the other person was so loving or so charming or whatever. So when I realize he loves me, then you love. So when we realize Krishna loves me so much, is giving me so much. And how do I realize Krishna loves me so much? By just acknowledging the gifts he is giving me every day. I remember once in my gratitude journal, I was shocked at what I wrote. I was thanking Krishna for all the different gifts. And suddenly one sentence just came out of, it inadvertently came out of my pen. Krishna, you've done so much for me. What can I do for you? It was a simple sentence, but when I wrote it, I realized that carried the emotion, it was different. It was not simply the sentence. And then I felt I was in that space of love for that moment. Of course, I have got a lot of other issues which I'm sparing you. But yeah, we can experience Krishna's love. We can experience that Krishna is reciprocating with me if I take the first step of expressing gratitude. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, except that if you're in the middle of hardships and going through challenges in your life, would you expect the gratitude to come out in the same way?
You may not be grateful for those things, but we may not be grateful for everything Krishna gives us, but we can be grateful at every moment. You can be grateful now, maybe not for that problem that you're going through. Sometimes people say, how do I become grateful for the misery Krishna gives me? So I tell them, be grateful for the happiness he has given you. Then one day you will be able to express gratitude for the misery he is giving you. There's circle of influence and circle of concern. What can you be grateful for? At least thank Krishna for those things. And then Krishna will. Sorry, Prabhu, I can correct me. Yeah.
Sometimes life seems to promise you samosas and jalebis, and you're thinking, I only have to wait another hour for samosa and jalebi. But life gives you porridge. Can you overcome disappointment by gratitude?
Oh. I don't know about overcoming disappointment, but I have seen that Gratitude helps us practice acceptance. There are actually 3 levels. One is gratitude is at the lowest level. Thank you, Krishna, for this. Thank you, Krishna. But then there is an emotion higher than gratitude, which is dependence. Krishna, I'm depending on you. Like Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur would often say, anything you would say, okay, we'll meet tomorrow, Krishna willing. Even to acknowledge that Krishna is the doer. Gratitude, even when I'm thanking Krishna for all the gifts, it's all about me. I wanted this, I got this. Krishna, thank you so much, you're so kind to me. In a gratitude practice, I've seen that often it's I is the center. It's like, I wanted this, Krishna, you're so kind to me, but I'm generally living in my I space. But when I'm depending on Krishna, and when I'm saying, Krishna, without your mercy, it cannot happen. Krishna, you are the doer. Krishna, I'm depending on you. So I'm entering the space of Krishna's greatness. So from gratitude, when I enter the space of dependence, Krishna, I'm insignificant. If your mercy, it can happen. It's by your mercy that I could do this. And then from dependence, we can move to the space of acceptance. Because Krishna is this transcendental autocrat. So Srila Prabhupada said in his last days, kuch ichha nahi. He's able to accept what Krishna's plan. So we may not be able to immediately overcome the disappointment of what material world energy gives us, but by repeatedly material energy kicking us, and we are also having a gratitude practice, at least emotionally we are connected to Krishna, and then we learn to accept what Krishna is giving us. That's the actual practice of Tattenukampam, where if we can tell Krishna, this is, although I'm disappointed, I'm not happy at what I've got in life, but I accept it. Because material world is always disappointing. It never gives us what we really want. I can't say honestly that, regarding sense gratification, it's always, there is over-promise and under-deliver. But in Krishna consciousness, to be very honest, it's under-promise and over-deliver. I've got more than what I desired, honestly. I didn't expect I'll be practicing. Of course, I've had my challenges, problems, difficulties, but we get more than what I desired or deserved. So Krishna, Gurujan Prabhu says that in Krishna consciousness it's different. When we go back to Krishna, we will say, Krishna, you're so beautiful. When I was in the material world, I was hearing you're beautiful like a full moon and a lotus flower. But you are more than that. But sense gratification, it's the other way around. We are promised so much, but what we get is very insignificant. So we can't avoid that disappointment, that pain. But when we practice gratitude, at least we learn to accept Krishna's will. Krishna, you've given me so much, but there is a folk tale in Bangladesh that one rich man he had a poor servant who was cleaning up the house every day, but this servant never saw a soft bed, and you would see his master has a beautiful bed, soft bed, pillow, and he would fancy sleeping on it, but he never dared to sleep on it because it is master's bedroom. And one day the master went out saying that I'll be back in a few minutes. The servant thought, now nobody's at home, so he lay on that bed just to feel how comfortable it is. But as he lay, it was so comforting that he fell asleep. And the master came back and he was shocked to see the audacity of his servant to sleep on his bed. So he took out his cane or a whip, and then he started lashing at him. You scoundrel, you rascal, how dare you sleep on my bed? And he kept beating him. And this man was screaming, the servant was screaming, no. And then suddenly he stopped screaming and he started laughing hysterically, loudly. And the master was shocked. He said, you're laughing. What happened? Why are you laughing? He said, no, master, I'm just amazed. I just lay on this bed for a few minutes and I'm suffering so much. You're lying on this bed every day. How much you must be suffering? So material world promises a lot. Actually, I learned a lot of lessons in England. See, I like to go for a long walk. So sometimes I would see, when I used to come and stay in the ashram, I would see out of the window, wow, it's sunny, bright. And I would get out of the ashram to go for a walk. And that 1 hour, suddenly it would start raining. Then I would come back. And sometimes I would say, oh, it is raining, okay, then I'll take an umbrella or something, but I had to go for a walk. And suddenly it would become cold, very cold. So then now what I do is when I go for a walk, I take all three caps. That cap for the sun and cap for that woolen cap, this one, and also the rain cap. Because I don't know how the seasons change so fast. So that's how it is. So material world is designed, Krishna has made it perfect to disappoint us so that we can tell Krishna, Krishna, I don't want to have anything to do with material. It's a disappointment all the way. It's a disappointment all the way. Everybody is disappointed somehow or the other. Material world promises a lot. We should stop here, bro. We should take one question here. Yes. Last question.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Just one quick question I was thinking on this topic, mind the mind. Is the heart and mind in sync with each other? When we talk about the third stage, surrendering ourselves to Krishna, does that come from the heart first, then the mind, or not?
So this is again struggle space. I don't want to get over analyze this, but yes, when I talk about surrender, I'm talking about entering the heart space, making the heart bigger, so that the mind becomes insignificant. See, it's like this. The Upanishads speak the story of a man who went to a sage, saying that I have a lot of problems. I'm troubled so much. Please help me. I've got so many problems. So the master gave him a cup of water, and then he put a handful of salt, and he mixed it, and he said, drink. So this young seeker or the troubled man, he drank that cup of water. What do you think happened to him? He puked, right? Everything would come out. If you take a glass filled with salt water, you will vomit out everything. So then the sage said, okay. He held his hand. He said, you come with me. He took him to a nearby lake. And then again the sage dropped a handful of salt in the lake. And then he said, now drink this water. So he drank. How do you think that water tasted? Sweet. But then the sage told this man that your trouble, all of us have the same trouble, the same mind trouble. It's like a handful of salt. So you are living in the space of the mind, which is like a cup. I request you enter the world of the heart, which is like a vast lake. Live in the heart space. And then the heart space is the surrender space, the shelter space. When we say shelter, we're not talking about the mind literally, but we're entering the heart space. So then it's like a vast lake. Then that problem doesn't matter. Problem would be there, but the heart would be shelter. Actually, what happens is when we live in the heart space, many devotees have shared this. I'm just sharing with you. Their problems have not ended. The problems are going on. But they're able to make peace with themselves. See, our problem, unfortunately, is last few decades, the way we are grown up, we always hear about happiness as something very important. You have to be happy, you have to be happy, always be happy. Happiness is my birthright. If I'm not happy, there is something wrong with me. But our ancestors were not like that really. They had a purpose, or they were committed to their family, community, and happiness. Sometimes they were happy, sometimes happiness was the gift you got, sometimes you didn't get, but there is more to life than being happy now. Now, today we are living in a very overstimulated age when we want instant reels and we want a dopamine hit. So that's a mind game. Pleasure is what the mind is seeking, heart is seeking satisfaction. So when we live a life beyond pleasure seeking, then we are entering the heart space, the satisfaction space. So I remember once I was sitting in the ashram, in the terrace, and I was very sad that day because I had some issues and some things were going on. And one of the secretaries of our temple council was a young new devotee joined, and he said, Prabhu, there's an urgent meeting. Can you attend today? I said, Prabhu, I just told him, today I'm very sad, I can't make it today. And he said, what? You are sad? So, Prabhu, something wrong? I said, wait. I'm sad today, but I'll be all right tomorrow. It's okay. I can't be happy all the time. Seasons change. There is winter, there is summer, there is rain. So our inability to accept life with all its emotions makes us more miserable than what we need to be. Our inability to accept misery, our inability to accept what life is giving us makes it more painful. And I'm sure all of you have, how many of you are mothers here? Okay. Very stupid question. Do you love your child? Of course. What a stupid. But is happiness the only emotion you experience with your child? What are the different emotions you experience? No answer. What does that mean? Any word for that emotion? No word. Frustration, I hear frustration. Anything else? Anger, disappointment, anxiety. And do you love your child? Of course I love my child. So I love devotees, I love Krishna, but I can't say I'm always ecstatic, happy. Life is like that. So if I live in the heart space, then I can tolerate all this mind. See, mind is like somebody on your left side, a giant 10-foot tall, gigantic demon who is shouting and screaming all the time. And I'm constantly looking at him and nodding my head. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, I'll do. And on the right side is Krishna. His voice is soft, slow and detached. And mind's voice is loud, fast and attached. And I can't hear Krishna's voice because I am a devotee of my mind. But occasionally I hear Krishna saying, pick up your beat bag, chant. And the mind, and Krishna's voice is soft, slow, detached. He gives up after saying once. And the mind says, no, check WhatsApp now. Send him a text message now. And I'm chanting, I'm sending messages. So mind is nicely held me. But if I can somehow, Krishna conscious bhakti process is all about turning our neck towards Krishna. That's it. And for that, we need to enter the heart space. We need to enter the world of emotional, we need to cultivate emotional memory of Krishna. Emotionally, we have to connect with Krishna somehow. And then we'll have to separate ourselves from our mind somehow or the other. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. It's been a long class.
Vraja Bihari,